Because Ryan can cut this at any time, so if we fuck up, we just have to just like do it again.
Point.
We don't have to do anything. Hey, future Ryan, we can give Ryan secret messages from the past. Ryan, your cats are cute. Look at this guy over here. You can't see him, but we can. Look how cute he is.
Cute as shit.
Oh my god. Actually, the cutest patootie I've ever seen in my life. All right. Hello, YouTube. Welcome back to some more modern content from Wizards of the North. I am back from a bad encounter with COVID, and I'm joined by my friend and fellow wizard, John.
How's it going, everybody?
And if you didn't guess by the deck names below us, we are playing some Modern today. I will be giving Rhinos a shot here. I've never played Rhinos. I definitely lost a lot of games versus Rhinos, but I've never been the one behind the wheel. John is playing a deck of his own expertise.
If you want to call it expertise, you could call it that, but I am doing what I can with Amulet Titan.
Amulet Titan.
Slightly different version compared to what you'd call the meta build. A little more focused on shutting down the One Ring. But I don't think that'll be a thing in this one, but one way to find out.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the integrity here also, is that like we're not just like building decks to like beat the deck we're playing against. We're trying to simulate, a natural F&M environment.
Exactly.
So if you're trying to beat the One Ring decks and you're not playing with the One Ring deck, that's just how it goes.
Yeah.
Right. Same here. It's not like I'm just running a bunch of like Force of Vigor's main deck or like a bunch of other like anti-Titan cards just like straight in the main deck. I'm just running like regular Rhinos. This is also a matchup that neither me nor John is really sure exactly who has the advantage here. We think it's like 50-50.
Yeah, I mean, let us know in the comments if one's got a significant edge over the other. But
all you Rhinos and Titan experts, duke it out in the comments and say which deck is better than the other one.
For the Titan experts, definitely hit the comments. Let me know how bad I mess this up, because it's as much as I've been doing my best to try and pilot this thing, it is, as you know, a bit of a rough one. So
yeah, and like I mean that's one of the interesting things that I actually want to ask you before we start here is that I feel like in Modern's older days, the meme was that the hardest deck to play in Modern was Amulet Titan. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like that's still true?
I would say yes. When you look at a lot of the newer decks, I mean, Scam, kind of straightforward. You throw it in.
You put the grief in, you take your opponent's two best cards, you say, good game, sign the slip.
Yeah. I mean, I still think that the Amulet is probably the hardest deck to pilot.
Right.
I mean, there's definitely a few decks out there nowadays. The 5-color Omnath is getting a little bit more interesting.
Yes.
The Cascade decks are a little more interesting. I mean, Cascade's always a little bit of throw the dice and see what happens with what you hit into.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're running all Rhinos anyway.
I mean, I know what I'm cascading into.
Yeah.
Some of these today's youths. Mm-hmm. They're like cascading into like beans and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, what is that?
When you're playing beans, you kind of take away from some of your hits, which definitely adds that little bit of volatility to it. But yeah, I still think that Amulet Titan probably the hardest deck to pilot. There's just so many kind of branches of, if I take this land and this land, what does it do? Versus, if I take this land and this land, then I could do this next turn. Little things like that just make it that it's kind of a thinking man's deck, in my opinion.
All right. Well, we'll see if my brain deck Rhinos, brain-dead Rhinos, can beat the big brain Amulet Titan. I have already won the die roll. We've done our mulligans, so you've skipped that boring part for you. I'm on a sad mulligan to 5.
I'm just on a mull to 6.
So not as bad. If you kept the 7, I would have been sweating a little more. But chilling on the mull to 5, well, you're on the mull to 6, only 1 card difference, not that big a deal. But I will start us off without any further ado, and I think I'm just going to play a Scalding Tarn and then pass it over.
All right, we go to draw, and we draw that. So we will start with a Saga. Tap the Saga for an Amulet, and I'll pass it back.
All right, I'm going to fetch. So I will get a Stomping Ground, which I will shock in. 1, 2. Then I'll do a little shortcut here. And I'm going to cycle a Lorien Revealed.
Go find yourself an
island.
island.
Go find another card out of here. All right, well, I'll untap, I guess, and I will draw. Wee. Well, let's play this Catch Your Triumph, and then I'll pass the turn.
All right. Untap. Draw. Go to 2.
2.
We will Selesnya Sanctuary.
Yes.
Untap.
Yes.
Add green-white.
Yes.
Bounce to hand.
Uh-huh.
With the green,
Yes.
a Boreal Grazer.
Uh-huh. You have a white floating.
We have a white floating. I will play the Selesnya Sanctuary back.
There it is.
Untap it. Add blue-green. So now I have green.
You do not have blue.
Sorry.
White. So you have double white green.
Yes, green, white, white in the pool.
Yes.
With that, I will use that in the pool, play a Dryad.
Yeah.
Follow that up with the additional land drop of a second Saga.
Another one. Another one. We're in danger.
And from there, I will pass it back.
All right. I will untap and then I will draw. I will play an Otawara, Soaring City, and then I will pass the turn.
All right. And draw. So it goes up, goes up. This will crack. I shall go find a second amulet, put that right into play.
Seems wise. Look, I don't know a lot about Amulet Titan, but I do know that the deck gets better the more amulets that are in play.
That is very much the case.
Just better, better, better. You're good.
All right. So now that's there. All right. So
That is in fact there now.
So we've got 2 land drops to make.
Correct.
And we have things that we can do with that. Not sure if making a construct is going to be all that worth it in this scenario. A 3/3 seems good, but if he does get to a Valiant Outburst or anything, 4/4s are just going to run it over. So I think my best play here, gonna do that twice.
Yeah, make 4.
2 green, 2 white, bounce it to hand.
Yes.
Use that 4 to play Karn, Great Creator.
Karn the Great Creator, huh?
From there,
I may have a response actually to Karn.
all right.
Yeah, let's try this. I'm gonna evoke Subtlety by pitching this Mystical Dispute.
All right, so it just goes back to my hand.
It goes on the top or bottom of your deck.
Top or bottom?
You may choose.
Let's see, I'm just grabbing another one of that next turn. I would be drawing Karn to then get another amulet. I think at that point, probably not going to use much value. I will put this to bottom.
Get it out of here. Look at that. It's just a counter spell, everybody. Look at that.
All right.
Still have 1 land drop remaining.
Not sure if I'm gonna see a whole lot else, so we'll do that, do the thing,
Yeah.
add the 4 mana,
Yeah.
tap it, make a construct.
Let's see if we have it in our big old token pile.
I definitely got constructs here.
That would also be good. Sure, a lot of cats in here.
Construct.
Hooray!
Currently a 3.
A Yar.
I will take the opportunity to swing in for 2.
All right, I will Valiant Outburst.
Sounds good.
This is the funniest part about Cascade to me. Whenever I'm playing against a Cascade deck, is that you gotta like we know what's gonna happen here.
Yeah.
But I have to flip over the cards.
Yeah. We know it's going to end up
I have
in
to be like,
Rhinos.
oh yeah, here's Force Negation, here's Shardless Agent, here's Word of Foothills, here's all these other Garbo cards that no one cares about. Here's half my deck. Oh, there it is. I'll let it cast this Crushing Footfalls and make some rhinoceroses.
Pardon me.
Rhinoceroses.
Pardon me again.
And I like some rhinos.
Sounds good. Block, try with
And
one of
then
the rhinos.
I'll double block even.
Cool. Try it down. And
Hooray.
pass.
I will untap and then I will draw. Well, let's play Misty Rainforest. Let's Get in for 8.
Well, I think my Grazer has done enough. I'll
Soak up
block one
3
of them.
damage.
Take the 5, which would be
Later down left, Yeah, we did it.
Look at me learning things.
We figured it out. And then that's it.
All right. Go to my
I've
turn.
assembled my rhinos.
All right. Untap, upkeep, draw.
Yeah.
That's a draw. This will go to 3. That'll crack.
Yeah.
We will find another thing that is a amulet.
A thingy. One of those thingies. Do you find that your amulet vigors get more beat up than the rest of your cards because you're always searching them up? Yeah.
Yeah.
They're always getting pulled out of the deck and touched and put on the table and.
Yeah, the one basic forest doesn't see a whole lot, hence why it's white bordered. All right, so that is all that.
All right, this is also the like classic or the like classic Titan field of just like, you know, a bunch of artifacts in play, no lands.
Yep.
And I'm still in like a lot of danger. Just like no lands in play, and I could still lose from here
There's a chance.
easily.
So we will do the thing with Sledge Sanctuary. Untap,
Make
untap,
6.
untap.
Boop, boop,
Make
boop.
3 green and 3 white. Attempt to cast a Primeval Titan.
That resolves.
All right, so I'm going to go find 2 lands.
Yeah.
Now, he's got 2 rhinos, got a couple lands open. What I'm thinking is...
1 card in hand.
1 card in hand means that he doesn't have anything to kind of force. Subtlety's not going to do a whole lot because he can't pitch to evoke. I think I'm just going to take the aggressive line here. Go and find a Boros Sanctuary and a Slayer Stronghold.
Yeah. Boros Agetasan.
Not a Boros Garrison. So do that.
Do some tapping on
These
its
will
own.
come in, so that. Untap, untap, untap.
You make
Add
6.
3 red, 3 white into
Yes.
the pool. With this bounce trigger, use this to target Titan with 3 or with a red and a white. This will
Yes.
bounce back to hand, giving this haste.
Yes.
Move to combat.
Yup.
Attack. This has vigilance.
It sure do.
I will once again take the
That
the
resolves.
action to now figure out what I want to do from here. This is a bit of an interesting spot. 2
At a
rhinos, 1 in
crispy
hand.
17 life. You're sitting at a comfy 15 life.
So I've got, those are the things that I've got in hand. So if I use this to go with 2 Mycosynth Gardens.
Okay. Make a big old construct, I guess.
All right. So then you will take 6.
8.
8 from the bump there. Yes.
I'll take 8.
All right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
All right.
Puts me at 9.
And then from there, I will tap 1, use the 1, make another amulet. So
Yes.
I will have 4 amulets, 3 of which being normal, 1 of them being the copy from the Mycosynth Gardens, turning
Yeah.
this into a 5/5 means I can block a rhino.
Block Rhino and win.
Yes. From there, I will pass it over.
All right, at the end of your turn, let's cast a Violent Outburst.
Sounds good. Put up in a couple more rhinos.
Let's put a couple more rhinos in play, huh? There it is! Whoa, if I cast this Crushing Footfalls.
Could you
Who would
have guessed
guessed?
that?
If you knew that I would cast Crashing Footfalls, let us know in the comments. Are you psychic? Ooh-wee! This goes to the graveyard. And I think I'm just gonna untap.
Yep. And
And see what we draw. Hiya! certainly a magic card. Certainly a magic card. You're at 15, I'm at 9, huh? That's not very good for us. I can attack you for 16.
16.
But then only 12 gets through.
Would 12 get through? 2 blockers?
Oh, that's right. That's Titan
have
Vigilance.
8 get
So
through.
we are certainly not doing that, huh? We are, in a regular modern game, I might concede here, but I don't know if we're actually dead. So I think we're going to play it out and see what happens. I don't believe I have any good attacks here because I would get in for exactly 8 and I'd lose 2 rhinos and then I'd be tapped out and super dead. So I'm going to pass the turn and see what happens.
All right.
Let's see what John's got up his sleeve here. I know 2 of his cards in hand at least. I know he has a Celestial Sanctuary and a Boros Garrison.
You know about those 2.
I know about those, but there's 2 mystery cards. They could be anything.
Yes. All right, untap, upkeep, draw. That is an interesting draw. Don't think it helps me in this particular instance. So, I'm pretty sure there's not a whole lot that I'm going to be able to do here outside of just kind of run that same type of loop here. Do the Sanctuary, add 4 green and 4 white into the pool.
That's a lot.
Bounce it. Use 2 green and the 4 white for a second Amulet. Or, a second Titan.
Yeah. So you still have green and a white floating, or 2 white.
2 green.
2 green.
2 green floating.
2 green floating. Yeah, that resolves.
So with the 2 green floating, don't have any additional land drops to make outside of the fact that I can use 1 of the green to go into Grazer.
I mean, you can also tutor up 2 lands here if you'd like.
Yes, that is probably the thing I should do first.
That's probably the correct thing that Amulet Titan players, have you ever forgotten to get your amulet or your lands from your Titan? Has that ever happened to you?
When you think too far ahead of the game.
Yeah.
We'll do a Sunhome and
Sunhome, Fortress of the Legion.
Don't really think it matters too much what I grab with this other land.
That's code for Derek's super dead.
So I'm going to grab just the extra garden.
Yeah, I believe John can take actions at random and then still win. Unless I've got a tricksy trick.
So those came in. So now we still have the 2 green in the pool from the initial Celestial Sanctuary. Use 1 of the green for a Grazer. And go Boros Garrison. So do that thing.
Make a bunch
4 red, 4 white, and a green.
Yes.
Red and a white. Give that one haste.
Yep.
And before I go to combat, I gotta empty the pool or else it just dies anyway. So we'll give the new one that came in double strike.
The haste. And the vigilance.
Vigilance, double strike, plus 2/0.
It's a lot of keywords.
And pay the 1. Let's get another garden going. And let's swing. So we move to Vigilance, that, and that.
Would you like to search up 4 more lands?
I will search up 4 more lands. With those lands, I'm going to get my...
Yeah, I guess it's 2 batches of 2 lands. I'm not sure how relevant that is, but...
Well, the first one, we'll get the 2 Valakuts, which don't really do anything at this point because I don't have the Dryad out. The other ones, we will grab a Simic Growth Chamber and a Vesuva.
Yeah.
The Vesuva will copy a Valakut.
Sure.
When this comes in, it'll do its whole thing. A bunch of mana. Bounce back to hand.
Who cares?
And then move to damage.
I guess I'll do some blocking.
So we got
This is
an
16 by itself.
Yeah, so an 8/6 trample, haste, double strike, a 6/6, and a 5/5.
I believe by my math, I'm dead no matter what, because I have to at least double block here to absorb 8. And that would leave me at 1, which means that I have to double block here, because I can't take any damage from this Titan either. So leaves me super dead to this construct. Because even if I block here, then I'll be taking 2, and that leaves me at 8, 9, 10. My lift roll's at 9, a crispy 9 life.
I believe I've got you.
So I believe this mystical speed is not going to help me. And that is game 1.
All right.
Going over to John.
Sounds good. We will move into sideboard.
We will. So I believe my sideboarding plan is pretty straightforward here. I have some more interactive spells. Subtlety seems relevant, as does Force of Vigor, and then perhaps Dismember. But Dismember might be going a little bit too deep in the tank.
On my side, I think with the Karn sideboard, there's not a whole lot.
Yeah, the Karn board makes siding feel a little bit difficult because most of your sideboard is full of like one-ofs.
Yeah, I don't really think there's a whole lot I want to deal with outside of maybe bringing in the 2 Veilous Summer, just to make it so that way there's no chance of getting, if I have this, I could potentially work through a Force or Mystical Dispute. Real question is more, what do we take out in this instance?
Yeah, I think I'm a little stuck between Dead Gone and Dispute. Because, Dispute is, against you, a 3-mana bad mana leak. But Dead also doesn't really do anything. Gone can sometimes mess you up if I bounce something to your hand. Maybe that's good enough. I think it is, and I think I'm going to take out the Disputes and leave the Dead Gones in. And maybe 3-mana bounce your guys just fine is acceptable.
And I think with how kind of go wide, if you want to call it that, Rhinos can get, I don't think Cultivator Colossus is as good.
Make it a huge, tall guy, yeah.
Yeah, especially on the play. Probably take that and... Gotta think, but if it's anything else, I'm assuming you've got the worst card in the deck outside of it. Probably ends up being Azusa as well.
Azusa's always just kind of been like your extra Dryad, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not
super relevant. It just gets run over by Rhinos. The 2 extra lands is nice to maybe get a turn earlier.
Yeah, if I may help you from a possible... actually, maybe Veil of Summer's fine against me.
Making it so I can draw the extra card, I think, might be worthwhile. Having that protection against counters to make sure I get my Titan down.
Yeah, I do have some blue interactive stuff. The important thing to remember is that Subtlety doesn't counter.
Yeah, it just puts it on top or bottom.
Yes, so Veil of Summer does not stop Subtlety Evoke. But I do have some other blue cards like Flame of Venor and Ice, as part of Fire Ice, that you could Veil of Summer still.
Yeah, the one thing with Veil of Summer would be that if you do Subtlety, it does become a 1-mana draw 1.
Yes, it can just cycle.
To help kind of refill off the card that's going to inevitably get put back up on top.
Yeah, and you can get cute with it as well. If I Subtlety, you let it happen, and then after it's on top, then you Veil of Summer.
It just pulls it back into my hand.
And that just draws you the card immediately. So
yeah,
that's not like a terrible, that's not a terrible avenue.
Pretty much turns it into a worse remand.
Yeah. All right, let's figure out if I can keep a 7 carder here. I'll be taking the play in this game too, of course. Ooh, baby. Is this a playable hand? Shamona. You know what? I think it is. I'm going to keep this. I'm going to try it.
No. Amulet's one of those decks where you can usually get away with having 6 lands and a creature.
Yeah.
I'm just not sure.
Is that not one of these hands?
I don't think there's gonna be one of those hands.
This creature that you want to be having in 6 lands, maybe a different one.
Yeah, because I mean, like I could go Cavern, go Grazer, get the Saga.
Yeah.
Have the 2 lands there, but then I'm still turn 3 by the time I have my Amulet. Probably a little bit slow on the draw against Rhinos.
Yeah.
So that one's
yeah,
gonna
the
be
hand
a
doesn't really
mole.
do a whole lot, does it?
No.
You are playing off the top of the deck pretty hard there.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of setup. Yeah, you get the Saga and the Cavern, and you're chilling that way. But then you're like, I really hope I just draw a Titan, I guess.
Yeah, you're really just trying to wait for draw Titan, draw Pact, draw Dryads, maybe at least give you a little bit of flexibility.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think that was gonna happen there. So
Yeah,
I think it's just a conservative mole. See what we can do with 6.
Yeah.
4, 3, 7. This is. I don't think I could keep this one either. Just kind of the opposite of what I had in that last hand.
It's a bunch of
A
stuff.
1 land vigor into nothing.
Yeah. Again, I mean, I think the odds of that hand are slightly better because you do have a lot of bounce lands in that deck.
Yeah,
I think you have more bounce lands than Titans.
Yes. Yeah,
So-
you got about 10 bounce lands as opposed to the 4 Titans. 1 bounce land outside. I mean, a green producing bounce land, I'm in shape.
Yeah.
If I draw that Boros Garrison,
Then you're sad.
then I'm kind of hooped.
Yeah.
So I think, same type of thing, just kind of that conservative approach. Hopefully 5 works out better than 6.
Yeah. I mean, this is just like you can go. This is kind of one of the just like built-in flaws when it comes to like combo decks. Is that you're gonna mulligan a lot because you need certain cards to win. The deck is looking for a specific set of cards. So you just have to accept. Yeah, you just have to accept that you're gonna mulligan a lot.
Yeah. No, as much as I don't love it, I don't think going to 5 is going to really do a whole lot for me.
Go to 4.
Go to 4.
Yeah, you're already at 5 actually.
So yeah, I think just taking this for what it's worth, seeing if we might be able to top deck well, and kind of go from there. We'll keep this one and hope we don't get totally run over.
All right, well, good luck.
You as well.
I will start us off with a tapped Stomping Ground.
All right. We will move it into a Saga and pass.
Untap draw. I will play a Windswept Teeth, and then I will pass again.
All right, draw. Top decking isn't working too well so far. That's a 2. We will put out a garden, kind of build up, ready for the next turn, see what we might be able to work
He's
from there.
setting up. Oh, we need to reset our life totals somehow.
Yes, reset the life totals. I mean, if you want to start at 5, I'd be okay with that too.
Yeah? Deal? Oh, that's down. Yeah, that one's up. Yeah. Hey, look, you know what? Maybe, yeah. In this matchup, my life total actually isn't that relevant.
Yeah.
All things considered.
And pass it back.
All right, I'm going to fetch a Rhino. So
Yep.
we're going to go down to 19. And I'll get myself a Ketria Trio. Huzzah. Then I'm on tap, and I will draw for turn. I will shock in a Stomping Ground. 1, 2. 17, and I'll pass to you.
All right. So seeing that he's got 3 open, I'm expecting that violent outburst.
Totally not
at
suspicious.
The end of his next turn.
There's nothing quite like the shock do nothing.
So that'll be 3. This will, before it cracks, float the colorless, let that crack.
Yeah.
Go find the amulet. With the 1 floating mana, turn the garden into the amulet. So I've got 2 And
your 2 amulets.
See what we can do from here.
See what can happen. Anything can happen.
And I believe I did draw.
Yeah, you should have drew before you triggered your saga.
Yeah, so I know what I've got.
He knows what he got, but what can he do?
Okay, well, let's see how far we can make this go here. Semi-Grow Chamber.
Yep.
Do the untappy thing.
Yes.
2 green, 2 blue in the pool.
Yes.
Use a green. Grazer.
The Grazer. I have a response.
Sure.
Yeah, I'd like to force a vigor, pitching this Violent Outburst to blow up your 2 amulets. To shoot those things.
Yeah, that is going to resolve.
That's what we call a W, ladies and gentlemen.
That is pretty close to a W as far as I've ever seen.
Pretty good. All right, you still have a 2 blue and a green left, and you have
And a land drop to
this
make.
resolves, so you can put in your.
So with the 2 blue and the green, I'm going to transmutate to Laria West.
Okay.
I'm going to use that to find. I'm thinking, as silly as it is, it probably has to be another saga.
Another one.
Um,
That seems reasonable, I think.
which I will then put onto play with the trigger from Grazer.
Sure.
And that's all I'm going to be able to do there. So I will
That's
pass
it,
back
huh?
right into a Violent Outburst to Rhinos to face.
So that's the awkward part, is that this was the Violent Outburst. We had to use that as our Force of Vigor fuel. I could not resist. It was too juicy. So instead, I will cycle this Lord Revealed.
Sounds good. Bit of a blowout there with the Force pitching, getting to the 2 amulets.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing that you hate to see from your side. It's just like the Force, blow up two of your things. Mm-hmm. Especially at like a critical limit like that, where.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Where,
even if I don't make that additional amulet, like he probably still either holds on to it until a point where I have that, where I do make the second amulet, or even if he kind of pops the first one and I respond to make another one in response, still doesn't get me really anywhere fast.
Yeah. So first, I was looking for like the dream scenario of you going Saga Amulet, and I just get to like blow you out right there so hard. Mm-hmm. So I did have to wait a little bit for you to like crack the Saga, get the amulet, and then do something else. Mm-hmm. Because I don't know how worth it it's going to be to just like force on like a single amulet. Like maybe sometimes, but I think most times I want to try to go for the old 2-for-1.
Yeah.
I'm gonna untap, I guess.
Yep.
And then I will draw. Let's play an island. And then I will pass the turn.
Alright, so we see where we can go from here. Hopefully the deck works out, which that is not a great draw. That'll go to 2.
Yeah, my hand isn't looking that much better. Unfortunately, I was kind of hoping to draw a different green card to pitch to the Force so that then I could also outburst and then have the Rhinos and start putting the pressure on, but that's not how we drew it up. So here we are.
As terrible as this hand is, I just gotta kind of play my Forest.
Play the Forest.
And pass it over. No point swinging for 0.
don't want to flex on me for.
Don't want to take away one of my blockers in case I got some Rhinos coming at me later.
That's fair. I think I'm just gonna untap.
Yep.
And draw. That's acceptable, I guess. I will pass a turn.
All right.
Not the worst draw this deck has, that's for sure.
All right, untap, upkeep, draw. I draw that. This then goes and cracks, and I find, look at that, split the deck in the right
Whoa,
spot.
there it is.
It's almost like I'd played this deck before.
It's almost like you've done this before.
All right, so I now have an amulet back.
We're back, baby. We never left.
Still not a whole lot of great options here. Gonna play the growth chamber, bounce the forest, and I'm just gonna ship it back.
Shipping her back. All right, I'm going to cycle this Lord Revealed. We're gonna go digging for another island. Again, I think this deck should have a steam vents in it, but Ryan just did not build it that way. So I am just a sad, sad boy. So in light of that, we will just get another island. Get a second island. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this deck just like does not play steam vents.
I usually played one.
Yeah. You have some Rhinos experience yourself?
I mean, I've just done my searching of metas, and most Rhinos decks will at least have the one in there.
Right.
You can catch it off with the Lorien Revealed. You can catch it off your fetched lands. Just make that mana flow a little bit smoother.
Yeah.
The Triome is nice on turn one, but any turn after that, it's a bit of a tempo hit.
Yes. All right. Well, I will. Just gotta get some pressure on the board somehow. So we're gonna play a Fury.
That is a good card.
I'm just gonna pile all 4 damage onto that grazer there.
Ooh,
Get them.
crispy monkey.
Get the sloth. Then I'll pass the turn.
All right. Go to draw. I draw that, which is not, again, what anything that's going to really help me in this situation.
Nice. Good for us.
Um,
No bueno for you is yes bueno for me. I don't speak Spanish. I don't know if that's correct syntax of that. Those phrases.
yeah, I mean, looking at what I've got here,
Si bueno.
looking at what I got, I really don't have a whole lot of options that are going to make sense.
Yeah, I'm gonna finally get some damage on the board, hopefully.
I think really one of my best plays is to play the garden and pass.
All right.
Just not a lot that I can really do with the wonderful hand I'm sitting on here.
All right, then I'll tap and draw, I suppose.
Yeah, the double striker is definitely going to hurt when it gets to face.
Yeah, let's smash you for 6.
Take 6.
Double strike A, huh? The double. Double striking Fury.
So I'm down to 14.
14. Alright, and then I suppose we will. I'll play a Shardless Agent post-combat.
Okay.
And we'll get everyone's favorite card.
Rhinos.
Crashing Footfalls. So as we draw 2 additional cards from my deck. Those cards are always 4/4 Rhinos. Huzzah. And then I will pass a turn.
On the end step, we're going to use the ability to turn this into another amulet now.
Yep.
Hope he doesn't have the other second vigor. Really, we would blow it at that point. That would pretty much just be a scoop
That'd
at
be
that point.
exceptionally tragic.
From there, go to my turn,
Yes,
untap,
yes.
draw. This is an interesting draw. This at least makes it so I can potentially make some actions here.
Taking game actions is good.
Yeah, so we are going to do the growth chamber thing.
Yep.
2 green, 2 blue.
Boom, boom.
Add it back.
Yes.
With the green, we're going to go grazer.
Yes.
Results.
Yes.
Okay, so I've got a green and 2 blue.
Yes.
I'm going to run that same thing.
Yeah.
Green, green, blue, blue.
Yeah.
This will bounce. From that point, I'm actually going to go
7 mana.
Summoner's Pact.
Packed it. Go pacting.
Go find myself a Titan.
Yeah.
Play said Titan.
Yeah. That'll leave you with 1 mana left.
That'll leave a blue in the pool.
Blue in the pool.
So that's going to enter. I'm assuming no penalties, anything.
Go for it.
Cool. So from this point, I see that we've got a couple things on the battlefield that are going to be a little bit hard to deal with. Don't really know if giving it haste is all that much of a benefit at this point. Especially given the fact that I have to pay for the pact on next turn. I just go and get a bunch more balance lines that come back to my hand anyway. So I'm gonna take Castle Ardenvale.
Castle Garenbrig.
Garenbrig. Man,
Ardenvale's the light one.
I'm having a day today.
Yeah, it's been a long day, huh?
And another Gardens.
All right.
This way I've got a 6/6 that can at least hold up for some blockers. I'm sitting at 14. Unless he has another Rhinos on the end step, I'm probably at least living 1 more turn. Again, I've got to pay for the pact on the upkeep, so that's a bit of a bummer. But at least I got something out there now. I've moved the game state along a little bit. We will see what we can go from there.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna pass it from there.
All right, I think we have to be efficient with our mana here. So on the end of your turn, seems like a bit of a weird play, but I would like to pay 4 life to dismember your Primeval Titan. 1, 2, 3.
Give it -5/-5. It's a 6/6.
Correct.
Okay.
So it becomes a 1/1.
It becomes a 1/1.
And I'd like to deal 2 damage to it.
And that'll do it.
Yay! And then I will untap. Draw. Let's play Wooded Foothills. And let's... and 16 power and play, you're at 14. I don't know how much interaction your deck runs, and I think I'm a fan of making you have it. So I am going to attempt to return this Grazer to your hand with Gone.
Yeah.
And then I'll swing with my creatures and attempt to kill you.
And you will kill me.
Huzzah!
All right.
The old 1-1. And now you finally get to have a game on the play.
Yes. Back to the play where we won game 1. I'll see if we can make something happen with that.
Yeah, make the...
Hopefully we get a little bit better draw than what we had before. Hopefully not having to mull down to 5. If you guys were catching along with the hand there, just you saw that I wasn't really pulling anything. I think I drew 2 Summoner's Pacts.
Right.
And then a bunch of lands. Pacts are only going to do so much if you can't pay the tax at the beginning of your next upkeep, so...
Yeah, you gotta... Yeah, stick with those kind of sketchy plays where you have a bunch of Amulet in play, but then your mana is like by...
It's all...
Is from playing a bounce land, temperature time, to the bouncing back to your hand.
Yeah, so
because the moment that you pack, you have to win. Otherwise, you just lose.
Yeah.
On your next upkeep. Yeah, definitely kind of like an awkward spot to be in where all of your mana is like kind of like virtual.
Yeah. And that's where that Titan there, a little bit of a tough spot, knowing that I had to find 2 lands that it made it so that way if he didn't bounce something, that I at least lived into the next turn.
Yes.
To potentially cast the other pack that I had to hand and maybe get somewhere a little bit more sustainable at that point.
Yeah.
Just a hard spot to be in. Not exactly the best draws, as you guys probably saw. But
and I mean, we had a pretty good blowout on the
the
amulets early on.
Two amulets popping pretty quick was definitely a bit of a knock to the shin.
Yeah. Definitely a sad spot for you to be in there. You're good. All right. Hopefully, maybe this game neither of us will mulligan, huh? And then we'll have a good old,
7 for 7?
time.
I think we can make that work. Unfortunately, I don't think this would be the hand that would be able to do that.
I'm also not a fan of this hand, actually. It's close. It's certainly close, I think.
Yeah, I am not going to be able to keep that, so I will be taking a mulligan. Just 2 Karns, a Grazer, and no Amulet. Really just kind of a slow hand, not really going anywhere fast. Earliest in doing anything, turn 5.
Yeah, I think I'm going to mulligan this hand as well. Has a lot of interaction, but no way to kill you. And I think if I just leave you alone for too long, you will win. I have to have both disruption and pressure, or I think this matchup is...
gotta have sort of a mix there, so that way you can keep interactive, so that way you can keep me off my game plan, but at the same time...
I gotta make you trip up once, and then also have the pressure to not give or give you as few turns as possible to recover from the trip up.
Yeah. All right, round 2.
This seems, I think, okay. So I'm gonna keep this one, I think. See where it leads me. Okay, not my favorite couple of cards here, but I think a little better than what I saw the previous hand.
Yeah, I don't mind this. I think it's still slow. Real question is do I want to go to 5 on the play?
Yeah.
Against a fairly interactive deck. I think I have to risk it and run with this and see how far we can get. So I'll put that to the bottom.
Yeah.
And hopefully just draw well. All right. So let's get off.
It's all you. Heart of the cards, baby.
Start off with a Forest into Grazer, giving me Saga.
Sure.
And pass.
Alrighty, I'll draw. I will shock in this Stomping Ground. 1, 2. And I will suspend a Crashing Footfalls. Gonna do this the old-fashioned way.
Bold strategy. All right.
The old 4 turns, make some rhinos, huh?
Untap. That goes to 2. Careful. Draw.
A dose.
Now... I think in this situation, empty board so far, don't really have a whole lot going. I think the best spot is going to be play the Garen Brig, use the 2, make a construct.
Yep.
And pass.
All right, I'll untap. This will take down to 3. Hooray. And I'll draw. Play a Scalding Tarn. Interesting. And I think I am just going to dead this construct. Deal 2 damage to that robot. And then I will pass the turn.
Alright, we shall untap. Upkeep. Draw.
Yep.
And that'll do its thing. While that triggers on, we're going to make that construct back.
Make another one.
So that big boy comes back there. We will find ourselves an amulet.
About to get a little bit larger.
Amulet, so that gets it to a 2. And from this point, definitely got a couple options now that I have an amulet in hand.
Yeah, amulet's on the table. Certainly on the table. This is where the fun begins.
Fun for you.
Not fun for me.
Don't really think there's any like
Fun for John.
really great plays at this exact moment, other than play the Tularia West just to have the land up.
There it is.
And I'm gonna pass it back.
All right, in your turn, I will fetch. I'll go get one of them there triomes. I hear they're all the rage these days.
Especially for your domain matchups.
Yeah.
Just fetch Triumph. Cool, Scion on 2.
Yeah, here's my 1-mana Leyline Binding.
Yeah.
Here's my 2-mana 5/5 Kavu.
Yeah.
Good times.
Fast times at Ridgemont High.
On tap, goes to 2. Draw. Ugh. Not exactly what I was looking for, unfortunately. Unfortuna. I think I will just pass a turn.
All right. You're going to go to untap. Upkeep, draw. That is a card of a magical variety. Alright, well, given everything that's going on here, not sure. So, I can find a way to play this tap land, potentially bounce to Tularia West, find a way to make the extra amulet this turn, set up for next turn. Or I can be a little more aggressive. He's on 2 lands. I think it's probably better to be on the aggressive route with knowing that we have rhinos coming down. There's a chance he could also subtlety, but I think that's just the chance we have to take to potentially get far enough ahead if he doesn't have it. So we'll run that route. So green, blue.
Green, blue.
Play the bounce land.
Yep.
Untaps the bounce land.
Yep.
Bounce the Tularia.
Yep.
Use the green and blue. Add 6 with the castle into a Titan.
A Titan. I'm afraid I cannot allow that to happen.
And this was the risk you take here.
Yeah. We will pitch a subtlety, or evoke a subtlety. I'll pitch this force negation. I believe it is. Its moment to shine is gone. So I would like you to put that Titan on the top or bottom of your library.
So knowing what I've got in hand here, having bounce land out right now, probably worth trying to find something else off the top. So we'll put it to the bottom.
That's not good for us, I think.
And then that'll
this goes to the graveyard.
I will take the opportunity to get a couple cheap points in, swing for 2. Do you wish to
Actually,
hit it with
at the beginning of combat, actually, so before you attack, I'm going to ice to tap down your construct and draw a card.
taps it? Sounds good. And from there, I don't have any actions. I'll pass it back.
Untap this. Footfalls goes to 1, and I'll draw.
Rhinos on the horizon.
Them rhinos be coming. Interesting. I believe we pass.
All right. I don't know if that's a good thing for us. The fact that he is not on, like, obviously he missed a land drop.
Missed land drops.
That's something, but it just means he's got a handful of action.
Got a handful of spells.
So
if there were lands in here, I would most definitely be playing them.
all right. Well, that is a magic card.
Magic's the Gathering card.
All right. So with he missed a land drop. He's got a handful of spells.
4 cards in hand.
4 cards in hand. Don't know if putting the slow play out and try and build for the bigger turn is really going to help, or if again we just keep pressuring him into having action. So we'll go that route. Teleria West, let it untap.
Yep.
Do the same thing where we add 4, turn it into 6 for another Titan.
Again, I cannot allow that, so we will attempt to subtlety this a second time, and I will pitch. Yeah, I'll pitch this sad Lord Revealed.
All right, this time, seeing what else we got going on, definitely gonna put that back up on top.
Yeah.
And knowing that that's going to come back next turn, again, we'll see what we can do here. Move to attacks.
Yep.
Swing for 2.
I will take 2 this time.
All right. 2. And we will pass it back.
15.
We got rhinos coming in here.
All right, I'll untap. I will cast these rhinos.
Bring on the rhydons.
A couple of 4/4s, and then I will draw for turn. Again, interesting. I will pass the turn.
All right. So at this point, we know we're drawing that Titan again. So,
Titan.
I mean, if you keep subtletying it, we're just going to be caught in a loop here. So,
how many subtleties could I have?
how many are you allowed again? 6, 7?
Yeah, 6 full of subtleties.
3 plus 1 equals 6. So, Titan. Do we have more action for it?
Doesn't really matters when I do this. So yeah, I do have a response.
Okay.
It's a little weird though. How many cards do you have in hand? Sorry.
I have 2.
2, huh? Dose. We're gonna Force of Vigor, pitching this Violent Outburst. And I'm gonna blow up your Amulet and your Construct.
Sounds like a smart play.
And then the Titan does resolve.
All right, so the Titan resolves.
Yeah.
So knowing that he blew up the Vigor and the Constructs changes what I have to get for lands.
That's the goal, is that at least now your lands will untap, which are whatever you pick up here.
Yeah.
Right, and the Titan turns where you get to get some lands untapped and do shenanigans are the bad ones for me. So I felt like trying to mitigate this turn as much as possible was the play for me.
No, he's got 2 4/4s on the board.
Correct.
Still only 2 lands. So I've been fortunate on that side. I think without anything crazy happening, I'm not going to be able to give it haste because I don't have Vigor. I think I'm just going to grab 2 Sagas.
2 Sagas. Not
Can
bad.
I set it up for next turn that I can make a couple constructs next turn if I need them. Give me some blockers. At least save me for at least another turn, potentially. Maybe just kind of extend it out, so hopefully I can draw a little more something. But that will be my turn.
All right, I will untap. I will draw. Oh, I was really hoping to draw a third land somewhere. I got greedy by holding on to holding on to Lord Reveal so I could pitch it to the subtlety, because Lord Reveal is technically a land, and now I think my decisions are coming back to bite me, which is quite sad for us. I will suspend a Crashing Footfalls.
Sounds good.
And then I will pass the turn.
All right. So we are going to go upkeep, draw into that. These will go up to 2.
They will.
Now, if I swing, he's definitely going to take that trade, given that he's got a couple more rhinos coming down in 3 turns.
Certainly a ways away, but...
And without having a whole lot else here... I think my best course of action is going to be... So, green, blue.
Yes.
Green.
Yes.
Dragon.
Uh-oh. Yup.
My land for turn is going to be a Valakut.
Yes.
With the Dryad out, it does make it so all my lands are every basic land type.
Sure does.
Which makes it so mountains.
One of those types is mountain.
Yes, so Valakut will come in, it will deal 3 damage. 4/4s aren't going to do a whole lot here. So I am going to take the opportunity to send it upstairs.
Shoot me in the face. 1, 2, 3. Down to 12.
And don't really see a reason to hold off. It's not like you can't see it coming, but we will tap to make another construct here. Just get another body on here, soak up a little more damage if needed. That'll just be a 1/1 currently.
A mighty 1/1.
Now, from this point, I can swing. Probably worth it, given the Dryad's out. So I am going to take that trade if he wants to offer it.
You do get some Titan triggers here,
Yeah,
though,
I do have a couple Titan triggers. So I think the clear choice, given everything kind of going on here, I think my best options are actually going to be a Urza Saga, or a Valakut and a Vesuva.
Seem pretty good.
Vesuva is going to come in as a copy of the Valakut ready on the field.
Yeah.
Valakut is just another Valakut.
So you get 6?
Yeah.
6 triggers here?
So yes, there's going to be 6 triggers. From there, it'll be 2 triggers to each of the rhinos, as well as 2 triggers up top. So 6, 6, and 6 to face.
Well, I'm at 12.
I guess I could.
I believe 6 damage to my face.
Yes, he is at 12. So I think the best is just use all that, send him upstairs. He's not going to have anything that's give himself hexproof, so that should just be Valakut triggers for the win.
Yeah, and I mean, like, at this point, there's the old saying, all roads lead to Rome.
Yes.
And I think that even if you kill these 2 and you still just send 6 at me, there's still 6 damage on this Titan coming, which still makes 12.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of ways that you there's not a lot of ways you can mess this up unless you're just like, I'm gonna put put all 18 damage into this one rhino.
Yeah.
Because this guy in particular.
Yeah, that ride-on looked to be funny.
Yeah, that upset me a little bit. But yeah, that does end it for me, unfortunately. Yeah, we missed our 3rd land. I got a little greedy. I was hoping to use his Flame Menorah to blow up.
The Flame Menorah definitely good on our
Amulet.
side. Another artifact kill spell.
Yeah.
If I ever find another amulet, he would have just popped that one
Right,
too.
it's also not terrible. It's kind of open to draw land there, so that I could at least, if you didn't do the Dryad line, I could at least block with 1 and then shoot it for 5 or something. But
yeah, for quite some time I was sitting there with Dryad and Azusa in hand. It's like, okay, well, if I get to the point where I have land drops, this can actually do
Then
something.
this does stuff, but yeah, without land drops, they're just kind of they're what us is like what, like a 2/1?
1-2.
A 1/2, even worse.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that's about it. I've been soundly defeated.
Yeah.
I mean,
game.
thank you so much, John. Again, I'm not a Rhinos expert. I'm not out here claiming to be Mr. Rhino.
And as you can probably tell, for the Amulet experts, I am also not an Amulet expert.
But it does seem like that maybe this matchup is a little bit skewed in your favor. Just because, like, I feel like Rhinos is maybe just slow enough that they do need the backup interaction to not lose to Titans.
Yeah, just to, like you said, kind of get that Amulet player to trip once.
Yes.
Take the one Amulet out of play, whether it's right when he's targeting it with the Gardens, which will be a big blowout on that side. Getting that Force of Vigor in there, pop the 2 Amulets once he does trigger it with the Garden, get the Constructs out of the way. A lot of things that the Rhinos deck has to interact. But yeah, I think you might be right that just how over the top Amulet can kind of take it to a second level. As long as you kind of dodge some of that interaction.
Yeah, it just feels like on average in those games, I needed more things to go right to win than you needed things to go right. You just needed like a couple things to go right.
Yeah.
I felt like I needed some sort of fast aggression and some sort of early or free disruption. To kind of seal the deal. We saw it in game 2 where I was able to stop the kind of key turn and then put something into play and then start going off.
Yeah.
But as we saw in that game just now, I had a couple too many interactive spells. And I didn't have the pressure to back it up. Mm-hmm. Where eventually you just got there. You're just like, okay, here's more land drops, and it's like your top decks become better and better at that as the game goes on. Mm-hmm. Where you're just sitting with 6 mana in play, you're just like, Titan?
And I think that was the thing too, of just making sure you take that aggressive line, really trying to make it so that way he has to do the interaction where he can, especially with something like Subtlety, where if he doesn't play the Subtlety, then he goes for the Lorien Revealed, he gets that 3rd land, all of a sudden he's now ahead of the game because I never at one point had more than 1 Amulet on the field at a certain point.
Yes.
So he's got that kill spell in hand to really set me back a couple turns. Obviously, you never want to see a guy only fumble on 2 lands, but I think just again putting that aggressive line on there, making it so they have to use their interaction, really kind of forcing the issue so that way when the later turns do come up and you have the opportunity to do something like that with 3 Valakuts on the same turn, you take that opportunity.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree that like making me have it over and over again is definitely a surefire avenue to prevent me from getting pressure in play, right? Because then I need multiple cards that are free to stop you from doing something and to put pressure in, which is a lot to ask.
Yeah.
And so kind of putting me in check every turn, where it's like, okay, here's Titan. Do you have an answer?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool, fine. Next turn, here's Titan. Do you have an answer? Mm-hmm. Right, and my consequence is to have the answer, use my resources. Right, you're slowly whittling me down. Especially when it comes to Subtlety, your deck does a fair amount of shuffling.
Yeah.
And so even if you put a Titan on the bottom, not the end of the world.
Exactly.
You can just shuffle it back in, and all of a sudden, and not to mention that your deck also plays a bunch of it plays a theoretical 6 Summoners Packs. You play 2 Teleria Wests.
2 Teleria Wests, the 4 Pacts. Enough ways to get to those if needed.
Right. Yeah.
Obviously,
so then,
like we were talking about earlier with Pacts, a little bit of a golden egg there where you do get it to start with, but then you get that consequence where you have to pay the 4 afterwards.
Yes.
Really have to have that turn right there. So when you pact, you have the Titan to kind of go off, get some meaningful presence on board, get those lands out so you at least have the play for the next turn as well as paying for the pact if you're not winning that turn specifically.
Yeah.
Right.
But
that felt like an educational podcast.
I mean, hey, we're here to teach. We're, as much as we are here to have fun, we're also here to teach new Modern players. It can seem very very daunting getting into some of these formats, especially if you've only played Draft or Commander or whatever, right? Those are much more, or they can be there's there definitely feels that there's like a big like knowledge barrier when you're joining Modern.
Absolutely.
And so it feels like, going through some of these lines, just so, hearing some of these phrases and words and stuff, now like the next time maybe when you do go to Modern, you'll be like, oh, I remember hearing about this. I don't have to ask them, what are you talking about? What does this mean?
Mm-hmm. And especially if you're coming from a commander background where everything's singleton, you deal with an issue and it's done.
Yes.
Right? Modern, you don't really have that, right? You can get obviously 4 of any card, right? So you put that, you subtlety one thing to the bottom, there's going to be 3 more somewhere in the deck. Maybe he has one in hand, which was the case in that last game where I had the 2 Titans in hand. You subtlety the one, I was able to put it to the bottom, still have the second one in hand for the next turn. Wasn't really damaged too much from that initial subtlety, given that I had the backup plan for it. So, I mean, just understanding that there's always kind of that secondary line to it as well when you're in a constructed format and you have 4 ofs, to at least have that kind of ability to come back to a plan if it kind of gets stifled the first time.
Yeah. There's some fun complexity when it comes to Modern, where a lot of the decks, because you can run so many copies of the same card, it really lets you streamline your strategy. While sure, like Commander has its classic streamlining of like you have a card guaranteed in a spot the entire game and it's always available to you. But Modern, being able to devote a bunch of cards to one kind of strategy that's not centered on maybe like a specific card, is where things get like interesting, right? It's why a deck like Primal Titan is like banned in EDH, but if it wasn't, a commander deck can't run the 4 Titans, the 4 packs, 2 Tolaria West, can't run all these kind of like duplicates to find Titans. And that's where like some of these where like Modern, Standard, Pioneer, Legacy, Vintage kind of carve their niche a little bit, in that you can really hone your strategy around one card that's not just like a flashy commander.
Yeah.
It can be like any kind of strategy, right? Like here, like my deck isn't that different from yours, really.
No.
In that, I have 4 of my key card, Crashing Footfalls, makes 2 4 Rhinos. But then I have a bunch of like kind of copies of it, some kind of extras, in that I'm running 8 Cascade spells, which are all Crashing Footfalls.
Guaranteed to hit that Crashing Footfalls once the Cascade resolves. Yeah.
Yes. Same way how like your deck theoretically runs like 10 Titans. Or no, is it 10? Because you have the 4 Titans, you have the 4 packs. Yeah, then you have the 2
Tolaria Wests. Yeah.
And then you also have the one Cultivator Colossus.
Yeah, the single
you're almost
Cultivator.
running like 11 Titans.
Yeah.
Which is like is really cool when it comes to a deck building and playing out these kind of formats and stuff.
Now, one thing to point out for those who haven't really played against Titan all that much, Cultivator Colossus is a bit of a weird one in this deck, where you're going to play Cultivator Colossus, it's going to come down. It is going to have it where from your hand, you're going to put lands onto the battlefield until you don't have lands. Any of your bounce lands...
You play a land, draw a card, and then you keep doing this until you run out of lands.
Yeah. Anytime that you're putting a bounce land, that bounce trigger doesn't resolve until the Cultivator Colossus finishes resolving its trigger. So if you're putting bounce lands, you don't put it back into your hand and keep doing that again.
Yeah.
So once you go through that whole deal, you may have 5 or 6 bounce lands that you just hand it back into hand again.
Yeah.
So one thing just to keep in mind with Cultivator Colossus, that there are situations where, like if you have a Dryad out and you can get that Valakut and then pop 5, 6 mountains out and just win the game that way, great. If not, those bounce lands can be a little bit of a detriment if you don't have at least a couple amulets out to really take advantage of the mana that you're going to be floating while that ability is resolving.
Yeah, because like when you first read Colossus, it does seem like it's like, okay, this is like some sort of play a bunch of lands, have a giant guy. That's kind of how it reads at face value. But often I'll see Amulet players either play this with no lands in play, which means it dies instantly. They just want the trigger to like put a bunch of lands in play, draw a bunch of cards.
Yeah.
Or they'll play it and they'll play a bunch of bounce lands, they'll bounce them all, and then it's like a 2/2.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what is this card doing? It's like, oh, well, I had 2 amulets out. All these lands enter tapped. I just made like 40 mana.
Yeah, and then
Just
from there, if you have your Tolaria West and your everything, you can go and find your Titans, get them out, find ways to give them haste, kind of go from that side, and eventually work your way into a win con that you'll have enough lands to either, again, get your Valakut triggers, or you'll have enough going on that you'll just kind of storm over with a couple beefy bodies.
Yeah. So one of the things about Colossus is that like it's kind of like what it's really doing under the surface is it's replacing all of the lands in your hand with spells.
Yeah.
Right, because every time that you draw a land, it's like another free draw. So you're like, oh, draw land, play the land, draw another card.
Yeah.
So you basically repeat this till you run into lands, which means that the rest of your hand is spells.
Yeah.
Most of the spells in Amulet Titan make Titans.
Yeah.
So there's a good chance that you're just swapping all of your bounce lands for Titans.
Yeah, you're either getting more Titans or more land drops.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much all the spells you have in the deck.
Or like a Dryad and you've already got a bunch of lands out, and you know, it like especially gets weird if you made a bunch of mana and then you bounce some bounce lands and then Valakut's to your hand. Or like leave the Valakut's out and then you just like play Dryad and then play the same bounce land like 2 times. Just like play it, shoot you a bunch of times, and then bounce it back, then play it again, shoot you a bunch of times.
Exactly.
So, but yeah. So I mean, maybe Amulet Titan is still the hardest deck to play. But, you know, leave us a note in the comments. Is Amulet Titan the biggest brain deck in Modern right now?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, if, you know, we're not experts in these decks. If you guys are watching this, just wondering how the rest of the world is playing them, and you're seeing something that we're doing wrong, let us know. Hit us up in the comments. We want to learn as much as we want to teach other players what to do in these situations as well. And obviously, not super meta in terms of like our decks trying to go against each other, at least in the first game. Sideboarding is what it is, and it always is going to be that way. But yeah, let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear from you guys. Any of the support that you guys can give us as well, even if you love the content that we're coming out with, let us know. Any of the interactions really help out the channel.
Yeah. But yeah, you know, I'm definitely going to be afraid to go to my LGS now. There's a couple of Rhinos experts, so if they watch this video, they might be giving me some bad mouthing. Like, I can't believe you kept that hand. What are you doing?
Oh, there's a few Amulet players up in Red Deer as well that I got. If they see
like,
this,
John, what was that game 2? What were you doing? You're like, I kept drawing lines. Yeah, what do you want from me? But thank you so much. You know, once again, I am Derek, and I'm joined here by John. We are the Wizards of the North team, and bringing you some modern Pioneer Pauper, EDH, whatever content, all sorts of nonsense.
A little bit of everything.
If you like this content, make sure to give us a like, comment, subscribe. You can ring the bell, and I think YouTube sends you like an email whenever one of our videos drops.
Yeah, hit the bell, get notifications when new videos drop.
Yeah,
just so that way you're up to date with everything going on. There's a lot of new stuff coming up here. A little bit of Lorcana on the channel as well.
That's
for
right,
those Lorcana players. But otherwise, going to see a lot of the content coming out in the next little bit here.
Yeah. Also, if there's a specific matchup that you want to see, in not just Modern, but also any other, EDH or 60 card formats, let us know.
Yeah, and if you got
we're always looking for some, interesting pairings. I know it's always interesting to be like, I don't know how these 2 decks match up. Can I like see it? So,
and we were talking about before the filming. There's a couple of new brews coming out. If you've got a spicy deck list that you want us to try out, send us the deck list.
Throw it in the comments.
We'll see if we can put it together and play it on screen here for you.
If you can't play your shitty deck, we sure will. But till next time, thank you so much, and have a great day, evening, whatever time it is, and we will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
See ya.